Hey everybody, this is Charles Calhoun, aka the ShadeTree Pro. I'm going to show you something here today. I've been wanting to make this video. Now, you all have heard me say, and I hear, there's of course the naysayers. I said that when you strike a golf ball, that your hands are actually, we're not trying to drag our hands past the golf ball, that the hands are actually striking back behind the ball. Well, of course, those people who don't know exactly what it is I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and their information is only based on, what they know, in essence, I'm going to explain to you exactly why I say that. And it's so evident that it's just like, once you see it, you do it all the time, you just don't know it. And I'm going to use a way to show you. For an example, now I'm going to use a clock as the example. Now, if I set up to a clock, and there's 12 o'clock up here and 6 o'clock down here, and if I put this club down just like this, like from 6 to 12, that's a complete vertical line up and down. But because the way that the manufacturer designed the club to lean a little bit forward, leaning shaft or whatever, when I set up, my hands, Harvey Pennick said, have your hands at least slightly ahead of the ball or even with the ball. And especially with an iron. So when I set up to a ball, as you can see here, when I set up to it, now this club is not straight up and down. The club is actually leaned just a little bit towards that, where the hands may be towards 1 o'clock. So when I set up there at that position, now when I make a swing towards the ball, now all of you all that think that the hips start the golf swing and all of that, and now you turn your hips, as I call them draggers, now you can drag your hands to there. But that leads to so much inconsistency simply because I know for a fact that many of you do that, have a problem trying to release it because you're trying to release it with the body, but the true nature of the release is always with the hands and arms. So when I set up here, my hands at 1 o'clock, or in between 1 and 12, whatever, but let's just say 1 o'clock. So when I come down to strike the ball, in essence, guess what? What I'm doing is I'm making the club face go through, whoop, you see what I mean? It's going from 6 to 7, you see what I mean? Where in essence, the hands are going back. So in other words, the hands are going from 1 back to 12, in essence. So I'm sitting here, the hands are going back. You see what I mean? The hands are going back towards 12 because the club face is going through from 6 through to 7. In essence, so thinking that you are getting your hands past the ball, in essence of whatever, it's more of an illusion in itself than the actuality. If you're using the rotation of the hips to lead the swing, well, you ain't got no other choice but to do that, in essence. But I'm not doing that. With the top down, as I said, if you set that club up, and now this vertical, this is at 12, that's at 6, and that based on the way the manufacturer created the club, that it slightly leans, that now my hands is at 1, club is at 6, the bottom of the arc, and then also when I swing, the hands go from 1, the hands are at 1, and then they come back towards 12, because that's what allows the club head to go through towards 7. And that's how you swing a golf club, and that's how you set there and you create your natural release. And it doesn't matter if you're chipping, you're sitting there, hands a little forward, and all you're doing is basically bringing the hand set at 1, bring them back towards 12. And see, and this is something that makes the club head work. And when you're making a golf swing, the only thing that matters is what this is doing. We're not hitting the ball with our hands. We're hitting it with the club face. So when we sit there, we're making that club face go through. And that's how I do it. And that's why I say that your hands, when you strike it, they are coming back to where they're behind the strike, much more behind the strike than it is dragging them ahead of it. Charles Calhoun, aka the ShadeTree Pro, get at a try, and always good golfing.